time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watched, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
I'm Isabel. Last night, we watched episode 1 of The Bachelorette, season 10. The show aired on Monday, May 19th, 2014. Here's what we thought about it.
Izzy!
Liz!
I'm so happy that I get to record with you.
Well, I'm excited to be doing this podcast too with you.
I know.
It's going to be fun. I know you and I will be able to dish
Tremendously.
Yeah. About everything.
Right? After watching this episode, I thought, oh my gosh, this season is going to be awesome.
It is. It's been good to have taken a little break from the Bachelor-Bachelorette series for about 2 years, so I think I was ready to come back in.
Really?
Yeah, I needed a little break.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. After hearing tons about The Bachelor this past season, I figured, well, maybe I'll need to watch The Bachelorette since it's someone from that season, right? She's the one who walked out on Juan Pablo last season?
The big to-do. She's the one who pretty much called him on the carpet and said a lot of stuff. Anyway, if our listeners want to find out what that was all about, you can go back and listen to our prior episodes of The Bachelor, because everything is in there.
I'm sure most of the listeners know that one of the contestants from The Bachelorette passed away maybe, 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
In some freak paragliding accident?
Yeah, and it was all in the tabloids and People magazine and all of that. And, we were wondering, how are they going to handle that? What are they going to do? And I thought what they did was really a great tribute to Eric. Chris Harrison did a little blurb in the beginning, and I thought it was really respectful and really tastefully done.
It'll be strange to see him on the season, but I think they did a nice send-off at the beginning.
They did, yeah. And I really liked him in this episode. So it was hard. It was hard to watch him and see who he was as a person. And He was so genuine and kind and, seemed to get along with Andi. What did you think about the whole intro and the little background they gave on her?
The background was good. I was interested to hear when she was calling herself a gang prosecutor, but wouldn't it have been better to say an attorney? I mean, the whole scene with her out fighting crime, and I don't know, do gang prosecutors even do that? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too.
Aren't you an assistant district attorney?
Yes, thank you. I knew there was a more formal title. I thought it was interesting. It was like, is she trying to be Superwoman or Wonder Woman or something? But and maybe that was the best way to explain to everyone what she does as a gang prosecutor, if that is an actual title.
I guess. So. I don't know. I think she just wanted to have some street cred, so to speak.
Perhaps.
You know what I mean?
Quick question. The whole shopping montage and the trying on the dress. It's cheesy. Is there any way they can cut this next season?
It is cheesy.
Seasons to come?
But as a diehard fan of The Bachelorette, you kind of want to see her whole transformation. To see the clothes she gets to pick out and how she gets to express her personality through the fashion that she wears and all that. So I kind of like it. It is cheesy, but what about The Bachelorette isn't cheesy? I have to ask you.
You're right. You have a very good point. Even The Bachelor does not escape from the cheesiness factor.
Right.
So
exactly.
Especially when it comes to Bachelor, they're usually topless at some point, showing off their pecs and their...
I just want to live vicariously through the show, that's all.
Okay. Well, perfect. We can certainly do that and look at all the pretty clothes that she wears. I did like the dress that she wore that evening, though.
It was beautiful.
Yes, it was very beautiful, and it had a kind of what's the word? It was kind of one of those timeless pieces, right? It looks like something that could have easily been worn, say, in the 20s if it was a little bit shorter.
Very classic. Yeah, with the beading and the hemline and the cut of the bodice, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It fit her perfectly. Better than that other dress she tried on, some really strange halter dress that didn't fit her. And...
just kind of hung there, and you're going, you need to cover your boob. Make sure that it doesn't pop out.
Well, I don't think she has that problem. I think she's not that big up there, so...
No, I mean... You went there. Wow, okay.
I did.
Oh.
I'm always concerned about that, too. It's something to consider when you're wearing a dress that is somewhat low cut. Is there a chance that something will kind of play peekaboo?
Wardrobe malfunction.
And then the FCC gets involved and fines, and you don't want that.
Yes.
So...
Now the guys.
Yes, let's talk about the gentlemen that appeared. Should we go in order and just have a little
totally
quick
go
blurb
in
about them?
order, but I just want to
Absolutely.
say up front, these guys were hot.
There were a lot of hot ones.
There were a
That is
lot
for sure.
of hot guys. There were some interesting guys, but there were a lot of really hot guys. So I think this is going to be an interesting season.
All right, well, let's talk about the first gentleman to come out of the limo.
Okay.
This is Marcus.
Yes.
He's 25 from Dallas, and he's a sports medicine manager.
Yes, super cute.
Very cute. He was the blonde one, right?
Yes.
The blonde, blue-eyed
Yes.
gentleman. Okay.
Yep.
Nothing too memorable in their introduction, but he seemed sweet.
Yeah.
Well, these introductions are so awkward, and
Right?
you're trying to make an impression, but it's so hard in the first couple of minutes when you meet someone. You do need, so.
And here's my thing. I only kind of wanted to know the people that stood out to me for some particular reason. And so, after a while, the guys who were kind of nondescript, I hate to say this, but I just was kind of, okay,
Next.
let's meet the next guy. Isn't that terrible?
No, I'm the same way. I mean, I know it's hard to be completely memorable, but here's where you come across some stunts, and we'll talk about one in particular, or a few in particular, that had their little
The cheesy
moments,
stuff.
as you could say. Yes, cheesy.
Yeah.
So Marcus seems sweet.
Yes.
We'll see what happens with him.
Yeah.
Now, the next gentleman to come out of the limo was Chris.
I loved Chris.
He's a farmer from Iowa.
Totally sweet, seemed really genuine and down to earth.
Absolutely.
And I thought to myself, I can't see Andi with a farmer, but I'll be interested to see what develops there.
Absolutely, and I do think he has this. I was trying to picture. I was like, he reminded me of like a little doll. He's just very. Well, I'm not saying this properly, but he has a really pretty, really nice face,
Yes.
a beautiful smile, and his
Chiseled
face lights up when he
features.
smiles.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's probably why I thought he was kind of like a cute little doll in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's probably not the best term to describe him. If I think of something better, I will let you know. Next, we come to JJ from San Francisco, who calls himself a pants-preneur.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that means,
I
but what the hell?
think he is basically a fashion designer for pants.
Okay. Yes, and apparently he designs clothes for people that go to Burning Man. I read that somewhere and I thought,
Really?
Well, yes.
Okay, people that go to Burning Man don't wear clothes.
I know. That's what I thought was odd. I thought, well, maybe he does other costumes too.
Okay.
So maybe he's not limiting himself to pants, but by saying he's a pants-preneur, then maybe he's making
Fashion forward stuff.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he's trying to, get some exposure, and, having that quirky name will make him stand out more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next, we have Markel from Las Vegas, who's a sponsorship salesman.
Yes.
He seems very sweet.
He was
and
very
normal.
sweet, very personable.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a
Very southern. He had those nice manners.
Yeah,
yes
kind of a
ma'am,
gentlemanly personality.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
And then we have Tassos from Denver, who's a
Tassos.
wedding event coordinator, and I guess he must be one of the few straight men in wedding event coordinating.
Right? There was some chemistry there.
I think so.
With
I really
these
liked
two.
his approach with the lock and talking about Lover's Bridge in Paris.
Yeah.
And how they kind of created their own little place to put the lock.
Yeah.
On some, terracing thing over there. But,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I
I'm
think he
very-
made a memorable impression by doing something unique.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't
Absolutely.
as cheesy as some of the other ones that we saw later.
Okay, so let's talk about the next gentleman. His name is Cody, personal trainer from Chicago.
Please.
And
okay.
pushing the limo.
Every season they've got to have a personal trainer. And I must say, this guy was just kind of a meathead.
Yes,
Wasn't
I will agree
he?
to that.
Yeah.
And I think he spent a little too much time with the self-tanner.
Oh my gosh. The faux hawk, whatever.
Yeah, that was a thing, 5, 6, 7 years ago? I think we're over it now,
Yes.
but, you know.
I think we are too. Or at least we are.
Yes,
exactly.
I know you and I are.
Exactly.
I think I could think of a few other people who are as well, but I did like Andy's dig at him because he was a little out of breath as he's talking about, oh, so nice to meet you, and I had to push the limo, and he explained that he was a personal trainer, and Andy said, well, I'm surprised you're out of breath if you're a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, ding, 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 we have a winner here.
Yes.
She has got some spunk.
Oh, she has
awesome.
A lot of spunk.
So the next gentleman we have after our personal trainer is Steven from Encinitas.
Yes,
so,
the surfer dude.
Yeah, snowboard, surfer dude.
Yes.
I liked how, if you didn't know that he was surfing or snowboarding, just his speech alone. Nothing really stood out with this kid, so.
He seemed really young and just very kind of laid back.
True. He is 30, but he seems still kind of like a man-child, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was a bit strong of a description.
No, I get it.
All right. So the next gentleman then is Rudy, 31, an attorney from Long Beach. And apparently he is a surfer and musician as well, per his introduction.
Yes, he did.
What did you think of him?
I really liked Rudy, actually. I thought, oh, you didn't? Not so much?
I don't know. I mean, he seems very nice, but it's just something about the eyes that were kind of weirding me out just a little bit.
Really?
Yes, I don't know what it is. I mean, I did like his "May I approach the Bachelorette," kind of the whole lawyer speak, which was really cute and, appropriate because he knows that she's a lawyer too, or an attorney, and this voluntary fourth waiver, which I don't know entirely about, but they obviously got it, which was nice.
Exactly. It was kind of a little inside gang prosecutor joke.
Our next bachelor to emerge out of the limo is Carl, who's a firefighter from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And I thought he was kind of cute.
Okay.
And he gave her a little gift. I think it might have been like a snow globe. But it was hard to see. They didn't really pan in on it.
Okay.
But he seemed nice and normal.
Seriously, I didn't note anything about him, so he must, I hate to say, not have made an impression on me at least.
Jason, who's an urgent care physician from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Cheese fest. Totally.
Yes. I didn't like the hair.
I'm
sorry.
I gotta say, it's a personal preference of mine. I'm not a real long hair person, but there were a couple of bachelors that had just really crazy hair.
I will agree with you on that. Our next gentleman is Nick V., who is a software sales executive from Chicago.
Okay. And I didn't have anything really to note about him.
Neither did I. Dylan, an accountant from Boston. Again, with the hair, just cut it a little bit. Our next bachelor is Patrick, who's an advertising exec from Newport Beach, California.
Yes.
He's the one who kicked the ball as soon as he got out of the limo.
Yeah, which is something that one of the girls did with Juan Pablo last season. So I get that he wanted to make himself memorable, but...
Next, we have Emil, a helicopter pilot from Costa Mesa. He's 33, but you know what? That beard that he was sporting made him look older.
Yeah, it did. And I loved his explanation of his name because she will never forget that.
I had to go back and listen to that again just to make sure that I heard him clearly.
Oh, no, you heard him clearly. Anal with an M. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Brett. He's a hairstylist from Westminster, Pennsylvania. So this is the one who had the pseudo mullet. Do you remember?
Is this the lamp guy? Because...
Yes.
It was just kind of weird. Like, taking something from the hotel room. Why would you do that?
I know he explained himself, saying that his mother always told him, never greet a lady empty-handed, but really...
Don't steal something.
No, don't... I mean, a lamp. No. I mean, a pack of gum would have been better. Plus, it wasn't a housewarming.
Right? Just not a good call.
No, certainly not. It did get him, noticed, and he will be remembered, but maybe not for the right reasons.
He'll be remembered as a lamp guy for the rest of his life.
And a mullet guy.
Yeah.
The mullet lamp guy.
The mullet lamp guy.
So, the next gentleman was Craig, a tax accountant from Denver, and he's the one who popped open a bottle of champagne and sprayed it all over the place as soon as he got out of the limo.
Yes. There was so much testosterone in that moment. I think I started to grow underarm hair. It was like, dude, really?
Yeah, well, Can I call it if he ends up staying that he's going to be the resident alcoholic?
Of course, he's going to be the guy who throws people in the pool.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like a frat boy that never really left the frat house. Ron, he's a beverage sales manager from Memphis, Tennessee, and I kind of liked him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he said that he was from Israel and Barbados, and he's lived all over the world, and he just seems very cultured and worldly. And I liked his approach. He was very sweet, mellow, so I'm curious to see what will happen with this one. Bradley, an opera singer from Holland, Michigan.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we had Charlene in The Bachelor, who was an opera singer as well.
Oh, we're starting a trend now with the Bachelor series, huh?
Well, Bradley, however, seemed to be the opposite of Charlene in that he wanted to bust out that opera right from the very first episode. And she took some time to kind of warm up, and she was very shy about it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, he says that he wanted to serenade Andi and promises to do that.
Yes, I'm sure we'll see it.
Our next bachelor was Josh B., a telecommunication marketer from Denver.
Okay.
I think they look good together.
Yeah.
The next bachelor is Nick S., who's a pro golfer from Kissimmee, Florida. He's the one who rolled up in the golf cart.
Yes, he's the one that drove up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about him.
What were your thoughts?
I really wasn't feeling his beard and the unconnected mustache. It was just a weird setup with the facial hair.
I love it. I think we need to coin that term, unconnected mustache.
Yeah, well, he had the mustache, but it never really went down and met the rest of the beard.
Oh, it's just weird.
See?
Yeah.
Brian, a basketball coach from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. He's one of those blender guys for me. He seems sweet, and he was the one who talked about having an uneven tie and asked Andi to,
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, which is a great tip. Any opportunity you can get a girl to make physical contact with you during an introduction kind of crosses that comfort barrier and kind of disarms people. So I give him props for that. He did the smart thing.
Okay. I never knew that little tip.
Yeah.
That's very handy to keep in mind. Oh. Andrew, who's a social media marketer from Culver City.
Not much to say.
No, I got a kind of a weird vibe from him.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
It seemed like he either needed to shave or he was kind of in that grow out period.
Where it's not really stubble that's sexy. It's kind of like a half-inch regrowth.
Yes, yes. It was hard to concentrate because you weren't really listening to anything he was saying. You're just focused like, what's going on with his facial hair?
Right.
Next one is Mike, who's a bartender from Alta, Utah. And he's the one that you were talking about earlier that had this out-of-control hair. He looks like a poor man's Thor.
Yes, he did.
Thank you. He had such a baby face and he was all cute, but it was like he was trying to be Chris Hemsworth or something.
The hair was just terrible.
It looks like it needed some conditioning or
combing.
Yeah, the hair was distracting.
It was like I couldn't look away.
Let's talk about our next bachelor. This is Eric, the explorer from Citrus Heights, the one who unfortunately passed away. Yeah. They did a nice tribute for him, but
he was so sweet.
He was.
Gosh.
Then our last bachelor is Josh M., who's a former pro baseball player from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
I thought he was hot.
He was totally hot, and I must say they saved the hottest for last.
They sure did. He had a really nice smile. He has that confidence.
Yes. A little bit of swag, but not too much.
Absolutely.
And she had a reaction to him, so that was good.
She most definitely did. But yes, she definitely had a reaction to him.
Yeah, as we all did.
Oh, yes. I completely agree with you. He's everything to me.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. I thought some of the conversations were really good, but the overwhelming thing for me was, and I love this about the first episode, is the guys just totally sizing each other up.
Oh, absolutely. They always do this.
Right?
Every season. Well, they're trying to show who's the alpha male.
Right?
I think it's like an evolutionary thing.
Exactly. And I think this is what Neil was alluding to when he said, he just couldn't watch 25 guys in a house. I think this is what he probably meant. It's a little much.
It's definitely going to lead to some headbutting down the road.
Yes.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes. For sure.
I wanted to ask you something, because this kind of hopped out at me, and I don't know if you heard it, but, before, obviously when everyone's in the house and she comes in and they all start toasting and kind of chatting with each other, and before she actually starts going to each of the bachelors and talking to them a little bit, Andi said something about that she was fearful the guys would be disappointed in her. And I'm sure part of it is just the nerves, walk into this room where there's 25 guys, they're all staring you down in that sense. But I guess my confusion is just, she seems so confident that, why would she kind of downgrade herself,
Well, here's the thing. In some of the seasons past, some of the girls have genuinely said that. Genuinely felt that way, and you knew as a part of their personality that that's who they were, and it was kind of a vulnerable moment in the show when they confessed that, and you totally felt for them. I'm thinking mainly of Ashley, because I think Ashley was the one who articulated it first, and so when Andi, knowing who she is and how she feels about herself and her confidence level and what she does for a living, to hear her say that, I felt like it was kind of not something that she would have said by herself, but something she would have been coached to say. I hate to say that, but...
Okay. Well, possibly. They always have to I mean, there is a level of editing and interference by the producers, for sure.
Yeah. I just felt like... that whole
dramatic sense.
Exactly. I just felt like it wasn't something that Andi would say of her own accord.
I was excited that Josh M., who was our last bachelor, this is the pro baseball player, the super hot one, who was the first to spry her away.
Of course he was.
Of course, that confidence, slightly arrogance, kind of coming to the surface. Yes, and apparently Andi confesses that he is her type.
Yes.
So,
but I loved what she said when she said, he is my type, but maybe this experience will kind of show me that my type is not really what I should be going for.
Excellent point.
Right?
I like that she said that.
I like that she's opening herself up to just possibilities.
So, what were some of the highlights of some of the one-on-ones that you saw at the house?
Chris showing up, and then just the very end, the rose ceremony, and just the most bitter rejection that we've seen in Bachelor history so far.
All right. Well, let me give you a few of my my viewpoints, and we can talk about this bitter end thing.
Yes.
So I did like Markel's cookie tasting.
Yes, I thought that was really unique, and I like him.
That was adorable.
I love his personality. He's cute. I like him, and I like him for her. Yes. So far, first impressions.
I think so.
We'll see.
We saw her talk to Eric, the explorer, and how he discussed his work.
Yeah.
He seems like a genuine guy anyway.
Yeah,
so.
and totally an adventurer.
We had our pants-preneur bring Andi a pair of pants, paisley printed that.
Would you have worn those pants? I don't know if I would have worn those pants.
Then she talks to Tassos, who is the wedding event coordinator. The fact that he's done some traveling, he's lived in a few places, namely Greece.
Yeah. That
he's learned Spanish, he's teaching himself French.
Yeah, I liked it.
Although I think he could have said something cuter in French instead of, I want ice cubes.
Yeah.
But...
That really
I think it would have been more... Absolutely. I think it would have been cheeky if he had asked, can I have a kiss?
Yeah.
In French.
Well, and I think he was trying to prove that anything you say in French sounds good, because he kind of put that sexy emphasis on it. You know what I mean? Whatever.
I guess she and Nick V were talking. He's the one from Chicago, if I believe. He's the one who looks slightly like Rudy just because of the hair.
Oh, yeah.
But they had the whole discussion about how he's one of 11 kids, and, they talked a little bit about family and relationships between siblings and whatnot. So it should be interesting to see how they pair off.
Yeah. Was this the guy who got the first impression rose?
I believe so.
Yeah. I kind of liked their conversation.
I did. Because they went straight to the heart of it.
Right? And I can see why she gave him the first impression rose, because they were able to really talk, and it seemed very natural and seemed to just flow, and they were just really getting to know each other. So
let's see, I noticed that Bradley, the opera singer, did keep his promise to serenade, but it wasn't exactly to Andi, it was to some of the other bachelors.
Guys, and this is what I'm saying, like, totally trying to one-up each other, and just
But they have to entertain themselves too, because Andy's too busy flitting around talking to all the gentlemen.
Right.
And, trying to talk to this one and that one. And I'm sure that process takes a while to get through their conversation.
For sure.
Do you think he's going to be annoying?
I think so.
Okay. I think he's going to be the one that's going to be singing in the shower because the acoustics are great in the bathroom. I liked her interaction with Chris, the farmer boy from Iowa.
I did too. It was so sweet, and I loved their conversation.
Yes.
I like Chris the farmer.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out because, they do have, it seems like they would have some similar interests. I know she mentioned that she likes to be in the outdoors and she likes to be active and that kind of thing.
But I got to tell you, being in the outdoors and living in the outdoors on a farm are two totally different things. I thought to myself, I don't know if I can see her on a farm.
Then I know one of the last guys that she talked to, or at least that they showed, was Marcus. And it was very interesting what he said. Something about Texas values and European raised. And I think he might go far with Andy.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, she's certainly intrigued. She says that, she did say that she thought he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, too, that she is definitely intrigued with the guys who have done some traveling. I noticed that she was intrigued by the whole traveling thing, but I was wondering why she didn't go by herself.
Yeah.
She can go travel by herself with some girlfriends,
she totally
right?
can. I mean, you do that, I do that. It's just something that if you want to see the world, you need to make it happen. Nobody's going to make it happen for you. So
no, and you can't wait for the perfect guy to go with. Nick V, who's the one of 11 kids, got the first impression rose.
Yes, I really liked him. I really liked them together.
Yeah, so. I'm kind of curious. I mean, all I know is that he comes from a big family and the sibling relationship. So we didn't see a lot more of their conversation, so I'm wondering what else it was about him that she really liked.
Yeah.
Now, I did notice, and I've seen this in previous Bachelor and Bachelorette episodes, every time they're about to, give the second rose, because they've already given the first impression rose. Mm-hmm. But did you ever notice that the Bachelor or Bachelorette, whoever's standing up there, is always holding the rose and has to do this quick exhale of breath?
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
I do, but you know what else I noticed about this? Is they severely cut this down because typically it's a lot more drawn out.
I wonder if they got more complaints because no need to prolong the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
Just get through with it.
Just get to it.
I appreciate that because after a while it's...
Right?
Yeah.
I was ready.
It's tiresome to hear the same music.
Exactly. I was ready for it to be moving on. And speaking of moving on, I think that Josh B was pretty much the most bitter rejection I've ever seen on a Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Oh, I completely agree.
Right?
So basically, yes. So just to kind of recap, the people who are no longer on the show, who have been let go, Andy does not want to see them anymore, are Emil, who was a helicopter pilot. Yes. Mike, the poor man's Thor, with super cute, but the hair was a mess. Yes. Rudy, our attorney,
and I think he was really surprised.
I think so too. Yeah. Jason, the ER doctor from Wisconsin, who again with the hair.
Yes.
Josh B, yes, not pleased at all. And
it was bitter with a capital B.
Exactly. Oh, and did you notice they never really showed Steven saying goodbye, who's a snowboarder? They never showed him saying goodbye to Andy. He just kind of left, I think. Yeah, I think it just totally got spliced out because they were going to give some time to Josh B, who did not even look at Andy when she said, thank you, good luck. He never said a word to her.
Walking. It was the serious diss.
Oh my goodness. I had to laugh though because at the end, obviously some of the guys will say, well, I'm disappointed. I really thought, blah, blah, blah.
It's an ego blow. It's an ego blow.
Yes, it is. It is, but you kind of have to go into it with that expectation that you could be just cut. But Josh B's explanation, I love how he didn't really take any responsibility for signing up for the show. Did you notice that?
No, of course not.
Oh, he said something to the effect of, oh, well, I didn't really sign up. It was someone else that signed me up. I don't remember who he said it was.
But I think he just could not handle the rejection.
I wonder if this is one of those things where he's never really been truly rejected.
Yeah. I felt that way about the doctor.
Yeah.
I felt like he was probably sitting there going, I don't know what happened.
Oh, he was so sad when he said he was not going back to a whole lot.
He was. I felt
so bad
terrible,
for him.
Right?
I felt like saying, well, honey, maybe you need to go to a bigger city.
Exactly.
You need to get out of Wisconsin or Sturgeon Bay.
Yeah.
I don't know how big the population is, but maybe he needs to go somewhere else.
Yes. So I kind of want to mention one thing.
What's that?
And that is, I don't know how I'm going to fare this season listening to Andi say y'all all the time.
Well, she is from Atlanta.
I know, but it's going to get really old really quick.
Well, I am excited about this upcoming season in terms of some of the places that they end up going to. Looks like they're going to be in Venice,
yes,
Marseille,
Italy, my
Brussels.
favorite place. I'm so excited.
Definitely.
I can't wait to see what happens next week because I think we're going to get to know some of the guys a lot better, and I'm looking forward to that.
That's true. Now, something that kills me, and maybe you've noticed this too, and I've noticed this on subsequent seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette that I would watch. Everyone's getting upset because, well, the girl, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette is kissing everyone else. Well, hello, what'd you sign up for when you signed,
Yeah.
First season I can understand, but how many times has the show been around?
Yeah.
How are you going to get upset about being on a dating show where the person looking for love is going to be kind of kissing a few other people as well?
Well, and that's part of what Neil was saying during the season of The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, how many seasons have you had and you don't know this? And from that perspective, I totally agree with you, Neil. You heard it here. You heard it first.
Well, it seems that there's going to be lots of crying in our future, Liz, with all of the contestants.
I'm looking forward with anticipation to seeing all of the drama that ensues.
Absolutely. We saw her kissing a couple of the guys. I already saw that she was kissing Nick V, that she's going to be kissing Marcus in the future.
Yes.
Those are the two that they showed us. There's obviously going to be more, I think.
Yeah, lots of traveling, which I love.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be
true.
good. That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at didthelletteru.watchit. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.